Hey, morning guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. Hope you're all doing well. I'm just going on my normal 5K daily trail run to check the mail. And we're gonna do the 5K winter drawing here in a bit. But today's video is gonna be on my trail running gear. And it consists of a hydration pack or a flat pack, my chest rig, and down below a fanny pack. And I've been refining it for almost 2 years, so I want to share with you what I put in there. And it's geared mostly around the work I do in the desert. In fact, I have it so dialed in now that I'm actually using it as my ultralight hiking gear as well. So let's talk about it.
All right guys, we're gonna do the drawing in just a bit for the 5K giveaway. I'm gonna go through the gear that I've settled on over the last few years, and it is designed around my needs in the Sonoran Desert, where we experience high temperatures and a lot of sunlight, and also around the activities that I like to do, which are trail running about 4 to 5 times per week and hiking 1 or 2 times per week. We'll start with the chest gear first, but before we do that, I also want to talk about some other gear really quickly. So when I'm out in the desert, I always carry with me a hat, and not wearing my sunglasses right now. I would typically have those, and a neck gaiter, plus a pocket knife and a flashlight and a pistol on my person. The hat, by the way, is brand new. This is from a viewer, Jim. I want to get his call sign right. I think it's Kilo Juliet 6 Foxtrot November Papa. So thanks a lot, Jim. I hope to get 5K subs out of this hat like the last one. So appreciate that, bud. So basically my hat, neck gaiter, and sunglasses are primarily for sun management and protection from the heat. Now my chest rig, I've taken off a few of the straps, but I left the strap on that has my radio. And the radio is not a 10 essential item unless you consider it as a signaling device. And I have my Yaesu FT60R, and this is a dual band amateur radio. And I have it in a pouch. I'll put where I got the pouch below, but it's a nice snug fit. And the radio for me is important because I don't get cell coverage out in the field, at least where I like to hike and run. So I do test this quite a bit on the 2 meter simplex frequency. We have a good community out there, and also we have a couple of repeaters. So I have good luck with a 70 centimeter repeater, and if I'm in the right spot, I can even hit the 2 meter repeater. And it's also fun for me to also do a quick summits on the air activation if I find myself on a soda peak, and also as a quick rag chew. In terms of maintaining the battery, since I only carry the one battery, I do observe the wilderness protocol most of the time. And all that means is that at 7 a.m. I start to monitor for 5-minute window on the national simplex frequency, turn it off, and then I'll check again every 3 hours after that. And that's a protocol that most people will observe the same windows in my area. Now, the chest rig, this is a very modular portion of my kit. So if I'm trail running, I'll take a slimmer pack, or if I'm going ultralight hiking, a slimmer pack. But in general, I also like to carry much larger rucks when I do summits on the air. But this primary kit is always with me. So nothing ever comes out of here. So there may be some duplicates across the various packs, but this is my core kit. And I've had this for, I want to say, at least 2.5 years, and it's holding up very well. It's the Haley Strategic D3 CRM Micro. On the inside, it actually has compartments that are designed for carrying pistol magazines, but I don't run them in that configuration. I do have a holder for one of the pistol mags, but I use it for something slightly different. But we'll get into that in a second. Now, the very first thing I like to carry with me are a pair of gloves with a S-clip carabiner. I love these number 2 S-clip carabiners. I use them for everything, but I have lost gloves in the past. Probably lose a pair about every year, but the carabiners really help keep it together and secure. Now, the gloves out here are important. One, I use it for sun protection. So even when it's 110 degrees, I have these gloves on. It's also great to protect my hands when I'm trail running. I'm moving at a much higher speed, usually around 5 miles per hour, sometimes 6, depending on the terrain. And I take a tumble every once in a while. And I tend to fall and use my hands when I roll into it. It's just what I did playing hockey for many years, just learning how to fall. So it does protect my hands quite a bit. And then it does get cool out here in the winter and the fall, so it's also nice to have some warmth and protection there. On the side, there are 2 magazine pouches. I actually use this for my Multitool. And this is the Leatherman Mutt, and the primary tool that I use here is actually the pliers. And out here in the Sonoran Desert, we have these little cactus balls called cholla. They're about maybe larger than a golf ball, and they tend to adhere, and they feel like they're jumping on your person, and they're quite painful. So I have had them in the arm where I've had to pull them out. They'll stick to the treads on the shoes. So this is absolutely a must, so I like to have it in hands reach pretty quickly. And it has everything you'd expect from a multi-tool, like a saw and a blade. I never use those. I typically just rely on my folding pocket knife. And then on the other side, I carry a small second magazine for my CCW. All right, so inside, this is the part that I'm actually most proud of. Over the years of design I've been trying to do to get this thing perfect. This item here is just a standard bandana, and it has many applications. Recently I have been looking at one of the neighbors when he's out working in the yard. He's a landscaper, and he actually drapes this under his hat and provides pretty much full protection on his side of his face, ears, and back of the neck. And then it also works great for sweat management. But I'll also be using this to primarily filter out water. We're going to do some videos on the channel where I'm going to dig for water in dry stream beds, and I'll need to separate the bigger particulates as a pre-filter step, and I'll be using the bandana. Lots of other applications outside of sweat management, tourniquets, slings, etc. So nice to have, and the bright color works out here great since it is hunting season right now. I don't care for cell phones, but I do carry one. I'm actually using the single magazine pouch here without the plastic insert, and it's actually a really nice snug fit to get the cell phone in there. But the cell phone is usually on airplane mode or completely turned off, since it has almost no value to me since there is no service. I just use it for taking pictures, and if I find myself going off trail and I hit an urban environment, I could use the cell phone for that. All right, so let's talk about navigation. I still use AllTrails as a backup map, but I've switched over to the USGS maps, and I've also stopped laminating my AllTrails maps because they're too large and they don't fold quite nicely. So we'll have a large USGS map here for my area or whatever area I'll be in. I do like having them in these Ziploc bags to waterproof them. And there are a few items I have in here that are important. So first is the map. I actually have some cheat sheets for my radio just in case I forget to do something on it. And then I have a couple items I use for the land navigation, which is one of my new hobbies and interests. And the first is a UTM grid tool. And this is great for pinpointing your location on a map. I did a video on this last week. Viewer, I believe his name was TJ, former military, said, hey, ditch that number 2 pencil and go with a mechanical pencil instead. The 0.5 millimeter lead is better for more accurately finding yourself on the map. So I'm still carrying a traditional pencil, but I've added now to my kit just a big pencil. And then just a little bit of bungee cord so that I can basically overlay this on parts of like the trails and have a better estimation of my distance. I've also started to play with Ranger beads so that I can use my pace count to figure out how far I'm traveling. More on that in a future video. And again, you'll see here I have the S-clip carabiner. These are the number 2 clips from Night Eyes, and for whatever reason, every time I go buy them, I buy 4, and I never have enough. So I need to stock up on these. All right, so on the inside here, we have quite a few items. This is a new item. This is just a very inexpensive mosquito net for my face. We had a really bad July with the monsoon seasons, and the mosquitoes were everywhere, and I have a bad reaction. So this is a nice to have, but it's one of those things where I can't stand getting bit up. I carry an extra Olight S1R baton too. This is actually one of the giveaway items if you selected Prepper, but you'll notice I also have one for my everyday carry. So I like to have redundancy and standardization on gear that I know works. And nothing in this kit is in any particular order. Very little food. I basically just carry one beef jerky. Food for me really isn't a problem out here. I can go a few days without food. I fast all the time, so this is just to have something to snack on. Not much in the way of calories. Just a little wipe here to clean my sunglasses or my eyeglasses. And the Altoids tin is a pretty nice way for me to have a small boo-boo kit, but more than anything, the items that I break into in this kit are the tablets, for example. And I carry a couple of different pieces here. So Propel, I use these for mixing in with my water, so I have some electrolyte fluids. I don't want to deplete myself of all my electrolytes. On the same line, I also have a couple of salt tablets. I have some ibuprofen for headaches and also for dealing with any kind of body aches and pains. And since I have a reaction to a lot of bug bites, mosquito bites in particular, I always carry with me Benadryl. And then everything else in here is your standard alcohol swabs, small bandages, insect cream, burn cream, and even a pair of tweezers for the fine cacti needles that I might get. And there was room, so I put my whistle in here, which functions as a signaling device. All right, so the next item here is an emergency blanket. Believe it or not, I have used, not this one, but the one that was in here before, when I had to do an emergency bivouac or a bivvy. And that essentially is when you find yourself out into the field and you have to do an unplanned overnight stay. It's not comfortable, but I did a full overnight bivvy when I got stranded out in another part of the forest, and I'll tell you guys about that if you're interested. Let me know down below if you want to hear that story, but this really did save my bacon because it did get down into the 50s overnight. Fire isn't really a huge deal for me out here, but there are some applications for fire that I want to be able to use, and it's more than anything the ability to boil water. And my preferred method for starting a fire are ferro rods or ferrocerium rods or Swedish steels. They're all the same, and I like them because I just have to use the 90-degree spine on the back of my knife to strike the rod to get a good spark. It also comes with one. I don't care for this, but in general, this is my preferred approach for fire management. And then I also carry as a backup a small Bic lighter. Out here in the Sonoran Desert, I previously was using a Zippo, but I was finding that it dries up too quickly, and I was constantly filling it. So the Bic lighters tend to work better. This is a new item. I think it's from Blackbeard Fire Starter. I forget the name of their company. I haven't tested this yet, but this is their tinder. I typically prefer cotton balls with petroleum jelly or Vaseline, and those have always worked for me. I just don't have a small container right now where I can put that in. I've got some ideas, maybe like the mini Altoids tins, the micro ones, and I'm going to switch to that, but I'll try this at some point. Similar to the navigation for the compass and the grid finder, I always carry with me a Suunto MC2 compass. I like this one a lot because it does support the ability for me to set the declination in my area so that I'm not pointing at magnetic north, I am pointing at true north, which aligns with my map. And then it's also nice that this compass in particular can double as a signaling mirror or to inspect yourself. All right, and the last items are really more for amateur radio. Sorry guys, we're over a flight path. And I carry a Write in the Rain notepad and then another pencil, and this is primarily to log my contacts. The last bit I have in here for amateur radio are just a handful of field cards that I've talked about before on the channel, and these are just laminated 3x5 index cards for a variety of reminders. All right guys, I think this is probably a good time to jump in the house and pick our winners. Looks like we had 60 unique comments, and let's go ahead and start the drawing. All right, it looks like North Star Prepper went ahead and got it, and he wants the prepper items. So North Star Prepper, you're getting a Olight S1R Baton 2. Congratulations. I'll go ahead and leave a comment for you in the other video with instructions on how to claim your prize. All right, so we're back. So if you guys are still with me, I'm going to show what's in my hydration pack. But keep in mind that the pack may change. Like I said, if I'm trail running, this is the pack that I will carry with me. Same thing if I'm going for an ultralight hike. Otherwise, I'll have a different pack. But the core gear that's in this pack will always be in another pack as well. And I don't change those out. I have duplicates. So first and foremost, this is the Haley Strategic Flat Pack. I like it because it can actually expand on the main compartment and the outer compartment. Right now I just have the outer compartment opened up. And the primary reason for this is to run hydration. And I will be the first to say that I absolutely detest hydration bladders. I've had too many leaks in the field. I have lost too much water. This hydration pouch I have, or bladder that I have, I absolutely do not like. It is the Source 2-liter hydration system, and the reason I don't like it is I don't care for the bite valve, which I know I can replace, and I don't care for the main fill port because it has a notorious habit of leaking 75% of the time. I just can't figure out how to fill that thing without having it make a mess. It doesn't leak after it's filled and properly secured, so there's really no issue there. So this pack actually supports 2 liters. Now, the reason why I'm still using it and haven't thrown it in the garbage is that I can actually take off the bite valve. And a viewer recommended that I actually get a universal fill adapter. And I'm going to open a few things here so I can talk about the water altogether. All right, so one thing I do is I always carry a plastic water bottle because I don't trust the hydration bladder, and I tend to drink from the hydration bladder first. So I always have a backup, especially out here in the desert where we have almost no water. And I do like these 1-liter Smart Waters because they actually have a pretty nice heavy-duty plastic, and you can reuse these a ton, and they're easy to replace. They also have nice threads that work with the Sawyer Mini filter. But the other thing it does, I can actually fill my bladder with this system here, and that's the other reason I really carry it. So all I really need to do is take off the threads, put this guy on, and then I can actually connect the valve and then just put it upside down and gravity fill it. And I did try this not too long ago, and it works absolutely great. It takes less than 50 seconds to fill it up. So that's what I'm doing for my water. So this kit typically supports 3 liters of water. And then the last bit of my water filtration system includes the Sawyer Mini filter with the fill bag. So quite a few options. I could fill the fill bag, thread this on, squeeze it, and decant from this end into that water bottle if needed, or I can drink directly out of it. So lots of good options, and these things are great. You can actually even back flush them to maintain them over time. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I also carry iodine tablets and water treatment tablets in my first aid kit as well, that little tin in the chest rig. All right, so the other item I have in my bag here is a rain jacket. This is ultra light, doesn't weigh anything, and it does rain here pretty often and out of nowhere. Well, not often, but out of nowhere I've noticed when I'm in the backcountry. So it's always nice to have protection. So even in the summer, I always carry with me my ultralight rain jacket. I also carry with me, and it weighs a little bit, I think it comes in at about 600 grams, a dry bag that contains a very small tarp with 4 tent stakes and some 275 paracord. And you guys have seen this on the channel. I use it to get out from under the sun all the time, and it, like I said, weighs almost nothing. And I could also use this for a shelter in addition to my Mylar emergency blanket. So if I have to do another bivvy overnight, another unplanned overnight trip, it really helps to always have this 600 gram or so kit in my bag. I'm actually going to be experimenting with a USGI poncho, and that'll actually solve the water problem for me, the tarp problem for me, the shelter problem for me. So that may actually replace all of that. So there'll be a future video on that as well. A couple of other items I typically carry in the pack. just some snacks. So I like beef jerky, Cliff Bars, and beef sticks, and even have more Propel tablets and more Benadryl because I had a real rough season with the scorpions. I got stung recently by a scorpion, and it's not pleasant. And a little bit of candy. I like the little kitty fruit snacks. Now this next item, it's a step up from that little boo-boo first aid kit, and all it is some Coban and some rolled gauze. And I find that when I get large lacerations here, getting scraped by something, it works better than little bandages. All right, and this is not a 10 essential item. I wish they would add it to the list, but if you're a runner, you know that we do get GI issues out there, and it's never fun to have to go number 2 out in the wilderness. So I always carry with me some Kleenex and some single-serve baby wipes. And then everything else here is just kind of miscellaneous extra, like a small roll of duct tape, the straw for the Sawyer mini filter, a little bit of extra cordage, and since this is a separate system from my chest rig, I also have an extra flashlight, and it's also standardizing on the CR123 batteries. Alright guys, I don't have it with me, but the last piece of kit has to do with personal security. If I'm hiking, I typically have on my person my G43. If I'm trail running, I typically put that in my 511 fanny pack so that I have quick access. And then the 511 fanny pack also gives me the ability to add about 32 ounces more of water across 4 8-ounce bottles. It didn't come with the 511 pack, but I did add them after the fact. So in general, guys, that's my kit. It's designed for my needs, my purpose. It looks like a lot of stuff, but it really isn't. I've found that the last few weeks when I've been going on my water finding expeditions and clocking upwards of 10 to 15 miles, that this kit allows me to cover a lot of ground. It's very lightweight. If you've seen the channel, you guys know that I carry very large rucks, and I can't believe the difference. I'm actually able now to cover 2 to 3 times the distance and not even be winded at all. So I'm really enjoying these lighter kits, whether I'm trail running or now hiking with them. So at any rate, guys, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for helping me get to 5,000 subscribers. I will contact the winner and provide information on how I can ship either the whatever item they want. I haven't filmed that part yet. But let me know if you guys want any particular videos. If they are in alignment with things I like to do, I will consider it. But with that said, I'm the Tech Prepper. Be strong, be safe, and be prepared. Oh, I hope the freaking video came out this time.